is a measure of synergy and coordination. So your best nakshatra by Tarabala is the one that best synergizes and coordinates all the other ones that are active in your chart. This video will build on what I've shown you already in episodes 1, 2, and 3. So if you haven't already watched those, the links are in the description. In episode 1, I introduced the 9 Tarabala conditions, which describe the way planets cooperate or resist cooperating with each other. In episode 2, I showed you how to draw a Tarabala Nakshatra chart and use it to identify all the Tarabalas that affect each and every point in your chart. In episode 3, I showed you how to organize those 9 Tarabala on a spectrum between strengthening and weakening, and then translate that into a tallyable point system to identify your strongest and weakest planets. And I also introduced you to the intuitive and versatile interpretations of those results. Now, in this episode, episode 4, I'll show you how to translate that from planets to nakshatra. All of these things are some of the things that I do for you in my newest report, which is called Star Strength, and a link to order one of those reports is also in the description below. So to identify your strongest or weakest nakshatra, just follow the same steps you already did to identify your strongest and weakest planets, and then let the nakshatra inherit the Tarabala score of the planet that occupies it. For example, let's do this for my ascendant. So first, identify and score the Tarabala that affect it. Then add up the scores. In this case, we get a sum of 39. Optionally, what I like to do is convert that 39 into a percentage of a maximum potential. And since the maximum possible Tarabala score for any point is 63, 39 is 62% of the max potential. Once you've done that for the ascendant, just do the same thing for every point in your chart. Then take that score that you derive for each point and make a list out of it and organize the list, sort it from highest to lowest like this. And by the way, this is exactly what we did together in episode 3. So if you've already done that, you've already done all these steps. Now what we want to do is translate this from a description of planets to a description of nakshatras. To do that, all you really need to do is replace the name of the planet with the name of the nakshatra that it occupies. And if you have more than one planet and one nakshatra, you can get rid of the duplicates, clean up the list. Now you have a list of strongest to weakest nakshatras in terms of Tarabala. To translate this into actual interpretations, just replace the name of the nakshatra with that nakshatra's primary keyword. Uttarashada is masterful. Kritika is catalytic. Chitra is brilliant. Purva Palguni is confident. Magha is inheritive. Rohini is arousing. Pusha is nourishing. Shatabhishak is mystical. Now what you have is a list of keywords that describe your strengths. The further towards the top of the list, the stronger that asset is for you. But it's not that things at the bottom of the list are necessarily weaknesses. Keywords will not really describe weaknesses unless they're falling below 25%. Subjectively, you probably feel like you need a bit more in your life of what's towards the bottom of your list, and you'll probably feel like you have a surplus or even maybe an excess of what's towards the top. But objectively, it's not necessary that the things towards the bottom are weaknesses unless their score is actually below 25. So once you have this list, contemplate it. It will speak a lot of wisdom to you just in these simple words. When you feel ready, you can add secondary words for each nakshatra. So for Uttarashada, we can add superiority, leadership, victory. For Kritika, we can add dissection, inception, digestion. For Chitra, sincerity, expertise, beauty. For Purva Palguni, assertion, proposal, initiative. Magha, we can add heredity, lawfulness, fidelity. For Rohini, we can add stimulation, creation, and inspiration. For Pusha, guiding, protecting, teaching. And for Shatabishak, mystique, magic, and healing. Now remember, what a Tarabala strength really shows is how well something synergizes and coordinates your other assets and strengths. So you should read this list, your version of it, with that in mind. Uttarashad, for example, it has the best Tarabala in my chart. And Uttarashad is all about mastery, superiority, leadership, victory. So what is that telling me? It's telling me that all of my strengths will coordinate and synergize best when I can play the role of a superior, a master, a leader in a field, or when I need to conquer a challenge or defeat an obstacle or an opponent. To show you another example, the list says Kritika is the second best Tarabala for me. And it says Kritika is all about catalysm, dissection, inception, and digestion. So what's that telling me? It's saying that all my different assets and qualities will cooperate together very well when my goal is to motivate people, catalyze, or to rouse them to action, or to break things apart, dissect, to break apart ideas, techniques, or machines, and learn the essence of how they really work together. So when you sit calmly with this simple list, each Tarabala will almost read a reading to you. And it's really a beautiful and phenomenal experience to get this information from your chart. As I mentioned earlier, this is a small sample of what I provide to you in my newest report, Star Strength. So as a reminder, the link to order that report is in the description below, or just go to vicdecara.com and click over to it. Thank you.